So let me ask you a question. Did you get stuck in the traffic close to the airport?
Do I look like Abbas? My Abbas Katami? Love
This
Abbas.
is a little dig for you, Abbas, man.
That's a little dig for you. No, I'm just straight out late.
How are you?
Just come straight out.
So Mac is like, you know what? We're gonna bust his balls today because this is episode 7. How did I beat Eric?
I was actually saying to myself on the way here, I got to be quite honest, I'm going, man, I can't believe I'm late today. I had poor timing. I said, but that's okay. Wes won't be here for another half hour.
He was on time. I was here first, of course.
You didn't see me, but I drove by and I saw
We saw you. I turned
you.
around. We saw you. There he is.
Sitting here and I go, God damn, he's there.
I was just about to text you. I did get stuck in the airport traffic, but
no, I was thinking about that on the way over. But no, that was just called poor time management this morning.
You know what? You're very honest. Because of it, we'll forgive you.
I'm not gonna make up any lies.
That's awesome.
Chilling out, eating breakfast. And
how you guys doing? This is episode 7. You guys be Built by Broser. Episode 7. We have a little special for you, a little Mac Truck update. So we're at beautiful Gold's Gym on a Sunday. It's usually shoot the show on Sunday. So it's good to see you guys.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we're gonna get in there. We're gonna have a little bit of everything going on today. We just,
And I try to get dressed up nice and put a bow tie on. I stretched the bow tie all the way and it still didn't fit. I was like, what the hell? So my vest, I had to leave it open. This was just like last night.
Oh, this is for something truthful?
Yeah, so then I put my dress shoes on and everything, and then my slacks, everything was like fitting crazy. So I just, you wear the high socks, so I just tucked my pants in it to make it look more like a golfer. Bow tie just gone.
Where were you going?
Where were you going dressed like
to a
this?
nightclub, man. I was enjoying myself. I had to go enjoy myself
I'm
a
like,
little
what's
bit.
he talking about?
I'm wondering, is this how he dressed to go to dinner?
I thought he was gonna come here just like that. Okay.
Oh yeah, come here with some slacks.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So this is gonna be good today. So Be Built by Broser number 7. I wonder if we're gonna have a hard time remembering what number it is once we're like months from here. This is number 50 or
58, 62.
Yeah. So there you go. Hi, Dave MadMax6 for Muscle Insider and All American EFX, and I'm with there you go, Eric Broser. How's it going, man?
Doing good, buddy. How you doing?
Big Mac Truck. He's big. So we're right at Gold's Venice. It's a beautiful Sunday, and today we're doing Big Mac Truck update. It's been a while since we know what's going on with him. We saw him get tan not so long ago and stuff, but Eric actually said, you know what, it's time for an update. So let's have the fans see what's going on with Big Mac and what's next for him. So here we are. I'll let you guys talk. What's going on?
Well, we discussed last time that we decided to skip the Nationals. We just didn't feel that it was, the right timing for him. So we decided to take the whole off season to gain some size. And so that's what we're doing. And we just actually talked about a week ago about what shows to hit. And we looked over the schedule. And I believe you have to qualify now, right? For the
I have to re-qualify
right.
now since I'm not going to do the Nationals.
Right, so we're going to have to re-qualify, so we're going to be hitting a show late March, I believe, in Culver City. Do you remember which one we picked?
I forgot the name of it. I just know it's like the last week of March.
Yeah, National Qualifier in Culver City. Around the end of March, that's when we want to hit. And then we're hoping that we just qualify there and then maybe go straight from there to the USA and see what we can do there. So yes, that's what the plan is. So right now we're full blown in the off season and looking to gain lean mass. We're not doing any kind of bulk up crap with where he just tries to get up to 280 or anything crazy like that. We're keeping him in shape, which as you can see.
I was gonna say, do you think he can actually get? I mean, he doesn't seem to be getting fat at all. Even when he was eating all those ice cream and Oreo, I mean, he was, considering what he was eating, he was actually fairly lean. So, do you think he has the type of metabolism that it's hard for him to actually gain that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely has a gifted metabolism.
Yeah.
when you think back to guys like Dexter Jackson, those types of guys who didn't have to do that much cardio, or
no abs.
They could kind of have some good food here and there and still. But the thing that I'm trying to do with him is I'm trying to put on a lot of quality muscle. So what I'm trying to do is shift the calories that he was getting from empty calories to nutritious calories. So instead of eating that, the crappy foods like Mr. Oreo over here.
Oh yeah,
he likes
gotta love it.
So Oreos, if you're out here,
sponsor us.
Cut us a check. So now I have him. It took a while for him to get used to it, but eating a lot more quality food, higher protein, higher carbs, all from clean stuff.
Yeah.
Of course he's gonna have what he wants here and there every now and again. There's nothing wrong with that. So what's happening really is he's gaining size, but he's not gaining anything in the waistline.
And
ironically, I don't think he's put on an ounce of fat, even though he's probably put on, at this point, probably about 12 to 15 pounds in the off season. So,
wow.
Yeah. So I mean, even though I know that he has the ability to eat more junk and and not get so much fat and this and that. First of all, that's just not the kind of coach I am. I don't like to put on a even if he doesn't have a propensity to put on that kind of crappy weight. Why should we get him up to an extra 10, 15 pounds of holding water
that you have to take off
we have
later.
to get rid of later on, or get expectations of him. And sometimes when you get up to like 260, if you get like 40, 50 pounds above your contest weight in the off season, your expectations for what you should come into show at sometimes are unrealistic. You start thinking, well, maybe I can compete at 240 or this and that, and you're not realizing that you're actually holding a lot more fluid than you want to hold, or maybe that little bit of extra body fat. So right now we're just focusing on a lot of clean food, like 6 to 7 meals a day, high protein, high carbs. But the good thing about it is that I could pack them full of calories and keep them lean at the same time. So
yeah. Big Mac, if whatever show you pick, will it be? It's not going to be a state show, because if it was a state show, then it would be the Cal at the end of May. So let's say you go to the local show and you win that. You want to do a state show. Do you think it would be a good idea to do a state show afterwards, or just go straight to the USA?
Well,
what's Eric thinking, or what do you want to do about it?
Depending on how it is, like I feel like if, like in March, we do the competition. I come in full and lean and look like I'm national ready. Of course, I'm gonna take all that time off to just focus on the USA's. And be like a full stick of dynamite instead of half a stick, because pretty much we just making a half a stick of dynamite, to create a crater. And if everything just dialing, like I say, completely right, we're gonna just focus on the USA's. If not, we're gonna go ahead and wait a few months and see what we can look like in a state show. And if whatever's my condition is closer to saying like, okay, we can afford to put on some more lean mass into the time for the USA's, we're gonna do it. But if not, of course I'm gonna have to do a show after that. I'm gonna have to dial it in a little more, be more crisp. Everything.
I mean, since it's the first time that you actually work together, you guys, and there's going to be a learning curve, obviously, and because it's off season right now, you'll be able to bulk him up and make sure that he gains some good quality muscle and stuff. But how many tries do you think it takes you, Eric, to actually bring him? I mean, how many shows would you say for him to be just the way you want him to be? Like Abbas, you were giving me, for example, Abbas, he said that was the best he's ever looked and stuff, but I'm sure you think you can bring him better next time. It takes a few shows to actually really pinpoint someone's, how they react to certain things, how you're fat, or whatever. So would you think it would be better for him to do a couple of shows before the USA, or do you think you'll be able to peak him perfectly the first time and then again at the USA?
Well, I think a lot of these things you have to take, one step at a time.
Right.
Sometimes you plan things out and things don't work out exactly that way.
Right.
I think there may be some advantages. There's advantages and pros and cons on both sides of doing multiple shows versus doing one show. I mean, personally, do I think whatever he comes at, even if he comes in looking freaking spectacular and blows everybody away at the first show, in my mind, I'm going to still be like, well, that's still 95%. We still have more to go.
Right.
I'm hoping that we work together for a long time. Hopefully he goes into the pros and, works his way up in those ranks. And my thought process is better every single time, obviously. So, but in terms of peaking, you definitely need, I definitely need at least one show to see how his body reacts, because some people do better with carbs, some people do better with fats, some people do better using some sodium, some no sodium. There's so many.
It's hard to know the first time,
but the key is, like I said with everybody, and I stress this all the time, is just literally be in shape a week or two before the show, so that the final week is not like you're trying to overhaul the whole physique. That doesn't work.
Right.
It's really just finishing touches on an already almost perfect physique. But I think that if he does a show and he qualifies, we could talk about it. It may be advantageous to get up on stage at another show that's very, very highly promoted, covered, in front of the judges again, and gain some more and more momentum. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably do the first show, see how we do, and then discuss what we should do, for the next show. Maybe he'll be, I have to also talk to Big Mac, because, depends on how he's feeling mentally and physically also. Maybe the prep took a lot out of him and he needs that rest, and we want to focus on the USA's or the Nationals later in the year, and I want him to rest. Maybe he feels like full speed ahead. I feel great, and why not step on stage again? get in front of the judges,
Yeah.
gain momentum, get that coverage from the press. So, you know, we'll just take it one show at a time. We're not going to say anything set in stone. We just know we're going to start this process
Nice.
right about the end of March with the first show.
Right.
Well, those are a lot of questions unanswered, but also a good game plan. I think depending on what's going to happen, just like you said, and how your frame of mind, and you know the results of the first show. I think it's exciting. That's for sure.
Well, right now, though, I mean, the focus is, you know, we're in the mass gaining phase.
Yeah.
So, you know, his training is very much based on mass gaining. You know, I've been using my FDFS training with him, fiber damage, fiber saturation training, which is the cool thing about working with Mac is that he recovers really well from his training, because FDFS is such a damaging,
Taxing.
difficult, intense program, not only on the muscles but also even more so on the central nervous system. I mean, I remember we had a conversation with Abbas one time where he did an FDFS workout.
He couldn't sleep.
He couldn't sleep for a couple of days. He was literally shaking, and that's the nervous system being overstimulated and trying to recover. So I'm able to. What I've been doing is traditionally I would only do FDFS, you know, once maybe every couple of months and plug it in there. But I've been kind of doing it like every other week with him, and I've been combining it with my Power Rep Bring Shock program, which is another program where we hit different ranges of reps, different rep tempos, different types of exercises between compound and isolation. So I'm always mixing it up, but everything's based right now where I'm looking for building more mass. I don't have to worry too much about his body fat going up because I know the diet is straight, and his genetics are such that he doesn't really gain a lot of body fat. So, you know, every time I see him, and I usually don't see him for, you know, 2 or 3 weeks at a time, he looks a little bit bigger. And as we were walking into the gym today, he was wearing a tank top, he was walking, and I just look at his waistline. His waistline is like tiny.
I know.
He doesn't gain anything there.
Yeah.
And believe me, I watch that, because if I look at him and I think he's gaining, you know, weight that is not quality, you know, I'll pull back.
Yeah.
But, right now everything is going great. So, and I think that, you know, he loves having these, you know, these new challenges. The cool thing with him is that he just, you know, anything that I throw at him, there's just no question. It's just like, you're right. I'll send him the email, and he'll send it right back to me and just says, okay, ready, done, finished.
Big Mac, I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk this training strategy and those workouts are so different than what you used to. You're someone who's really strong, and it's no questions, you know, we knew that. But how did you adapt to the new training, and how do you actually like it? And is it hard for you to train that way compared to what you used to do?
Well, like, I already got it set in my mind pretty much. Like, my first meeting together, I told him, like, I'm not going to do any more thinking. You know, it's up to you. Whatever you say do, I'm going to do. So by me already having it in my mind, when he throw it at me, I'm like, okay. But if I don't understand it, I'll, you know, reach out to him and let him know, like, I'm not understanding it. It is not too often that I don't understand it. But, like, you know, to switch it up and go modern rate, more contraction and squeezing and control, it actually do the same thing for me if I would be trying to just powerhouse some shit, because now I'm like, okay, I'm more tied into actually feeling the burn, you know, more of a squeeze instead of just throwing it around. You know, it's not about impressing anyone at this point. It's about, you know, controlling and breaking down the fibers, and apparently it's working, because like it seemed like pretty much every like day I put on like maybe 2 pounds, and it's not so much water because I'm not gonna hold water. So and then another good thing I like is, like, if he puts something in the email that I don't understand, he attaches a video to explain what it is, because I read it, I'm like, what the hell? Then I'm like, oh shit, here go a link. Then I look at it, I'll be like, okay, I watch it a few times.
That's
I'm like, okay,
cool.
I got it. I got it. So it's like, you just got to be a chameleon. You got to be ready to adapt. You know, like, just because I'm not used to running, don't think I won't get out there and try to run. You know, and like, shit, I keep telling people, you know, like, everybody was like, oh, we heard it, you know, such and such wanted to work with you, this guy. I'm like, I have the right guy. I have the right guy that's working with me. You know, like, I have who I want to work with. He take his time to make this formula each day, because clearly it's not cookie cutter, because then it'll look the same as the following day. Each day is totally different. Each week is totally different.
Is it exciting to get those emails, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do today? Is it kind of cool?
Let me let you know right now.
It's like getting a gift through emails every day.
I feel like, not to put myself high on a pedestal, but I can relate to President Obama right now because like everything is for me. Like everything is laid out for me. You know,
Wow.
like I'm so high on this pedestal, and then I'm not his only athlete. You see what I'm saying?
I know,
So if
he's
he's
busy,
doing this
dude.
for me,
Yeah.
he's doing this for others, which means like it would be crazy for a person to come to me be like, oh, who's your coach? I'm like, oh, Eric Broser. Oh, he was mine. I don't like how he did. Huh? Are you speaking a different language? What do you mean? Because it's kind of hard to like have somebody to really work with you 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and you to feel like they working with you 100%. He don't only work with my training 100%. It's my meal preps. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like he's just throwing me something like, oh, here, do this for a month. No, each day is something totally different.
So are you guys in touch every day, pretty much?
Yeah, every day.
Wow.
And even on an off day when I don't train, I get an email. Like I sent Dave an email on a Sunday. You know, I always get my stuff a day ahead. Right. This dude, he does them when I send them to him, right? So he was like, so when are the off days? I'm like, what do you mean when are the off days? We still have another day to train. He's like, no, I'm done. I'm like, dude, it's a day ahead.
I didn't know.
Like,
no one told me.
Yeah, so look, he was like, you didn't get an email today? I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, it's Saturday. I'm not supposed to get an email. I get an email on Sundays. I said, no, I didn't. You haven't talked to him? No.
Well, I'm excited. That's why I'm asking you. I'm excited every time.
So how do you feel when you see the different
I love it.
formulas?
It's just, you know, and I've trained that way years ago, you know, and one of the things that Eric and I started last week when we talked about his background and how he learned all that stuff, we didn't get to learn how he got to know this new way of training, because it is very different. It's not like everything else that's out there and stuff. So I'm really interested to get to that part. But I've trained like that years ago. We know some of the same people, which is very funny, because even though we've met each other very recently, we know a lot of the same people and we have some of the same background and all that stuff. So it's exciting for me to get that email.
You should see excited I get writing them up because I'm like a mad scientist.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you know, going through my clients and I'll be like, oh, time for Big West. I'm like, all right, let me think about it.
I loved when I saw the recent one when you wrote the Eric Broser special for the tricep. I was laughing, you know. That was awesome.
I was in the gym doing that, right? And I have my earplugs in. What's up?
What is that you doing?
What does that do?
Of course.
I'm like, really? You don't see what I'm squeezing? Really? It works your glutes. You know.
But it's so cool, man. It's just, you
them
know.
different angles, I swear, them different angles is amazing.
Yeah.
You know. It's just the small little things that we forget that, you know, works, and he don't forget the small little things. He make the small little things big things.
Important.
You know, and like I said, like having a pro national coach that's still an active bodybuilder is the best thing you can ask for. You know, like I put my coach and my trainer and nutritionist up against the top guy, you know, and we'll come out victorious for the simple fact that if you can make a natural champion super shredded, full as they can be,
On
you
food
know,
and training
imagine what
alone.
could you do with somebody that have a little assistance,
help,
you know what I'm saying? So, because I used to do, IMBA, you know, and I went as high
Isn't
as
that
I
what
could.
you are a pro in? No,
I'm a
that's
pro
the same.
in the NGA, but
Okay.
IMBA is another natural
Okay.
Yeah, so like I did that for like maybe 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
you know, so I had no other choice. Like, you know, you getting tested constantly. You know, you can be careful with the caffeine and all that. So to switch over to a different lead and everything, I got to stick to what I know is best. And that's still, you got to still be natural. You know, and if I can't do it 100% natural right now, not trying to put out what I'm doing, but if I can't do it 100% natural, I'm going to make sure I have someone in my corner that's still 100% natural. And it's working out, and I still feel like I made the right decision, the right choice. I don't have any regrets, and like I said, I don't do any more thinking anymore. So
that's great.
You know.
Well, I gotta tell you guys, I think 2015 with Eric going back to competing, and obviously we can. I mean, you can see his face right now from week to week. His face is getting leaner already. And Big Mac going back to competing, I think 2015 is going to be a very, very exciting.
Not to mention the man holding the camera is going to have a show.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be a really exciting year for
Should
Team
we throw that out
Broser.
there like how you doing, you? I think he said something about
he mentioned it before. Eric already
mentioned
mentioned it before. I got to scoop a couple of weeks ago, but I think 2015 is going to be a great year for Team Broser, and then you know, we're going to bring you guys along with us. So this was. That's it. At the very least, we're done with the update with Big Mac Trucc. Let me see how many more gigs I got in my camera. We may have a little bit more for you guys today, but this is episode 7 with Be Built by Broser. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, so we're here, Be Built by Broser number 7. I wanted to talk about something today. It's a question that I got this week, and like we've said before, we like to respond to some of the questions that we get from the fans of the show. And somebody was asking me about, they were telling me about, that whenever they do bicep workouts, obviously they're doing a bunch of different types of curls, and they're not getting any kind of a pump in their biceps. They complain that they're only getting a pump in the forearm muscles. And this is something that's not completely unusual. There could be two different reasons for this. Number one, they might have very, very strong forearms, and if you have a very, very strong forearm flexors, they will tend to take over the movement sometimes because the forearm flexors are involved. So that could be one reason. The second reason could be also the way that they're initiating the curl. They may be initiating the curl with a wrist curl first instead of keeping the wrist straight, which also will engage the forearms very, very strongly, and the forearms tend to pump up very, very quickly and very, very harshly, so that's what can happen. So I'm going to show you first an example of what I'm talking about not to do, curling the forearm in, and then I'm going to show you a way to curl that will take the forearms out of it and make it all biceps, okay? So,
all right, Big Mac. You be the guinea pig.
Okay, so first, first what he's going to show you what I'm talking about, what you shouldn't do. Initiating a curl, as you can see, he's curling first. It's very, very subtle, but when he comes, you can see he's curling the hand in first. Okay, but do it a little bit more, but people actually do this when they curl. Yeah. What that's doing is
It's all forward.
he's flexing the forearm first as he curls the wrist in, and then you come up. So curl this way and then come up. A lot of people do this. Now people generally do this because they're trying. It usually lets them use more weight, and that's where it's in people's heads, like, oh, whatever I can use to use more weight. But if you're not getting a pump in the biceps, then what's the sense of it? You're getting a pump in the forearm. So this is a little trick. Now, first thing I'm going to tell you is this little trick you're not going to be able to use nearly as much weight as normal. But again, that doesn't mean anything. You want to put tension on the target muscle. The muscle doesn't know whether you're curling 100 pounds or 50 pounds. It only knows the tension that's being put on it. It also knows how direct that tension is. So what I'm going to have him do is actually curl the wrist down this way before he curls, and that is going to isolate the biceps, because what that does, it puts the forearm flexors here in a stretch position so they cannot contract. So the biceps have to take the brunt of the curl no matter what. And I'm sure you can feel that. His biceps are squeezing pretty hard here. So even if he normally curls whatever, say he can curl a 120-pound barbell and he has to curl an 80-pound barbell, that's fine. He's getting more tension on the bicep. He's going to get more growth in the biceps. And this is something you can even do even if you don't have that problem. If you don't have that problem of getting a pump in the forearm, sometimes you could just curl the wrist down like this just for a different feel, and you'll feel a very, very direct hit in the bicep. So give it a shot either way.
Nice.
Continue our talk about how to more effectively hit the biceps and take the forearms out of the movement. And we're also going to talk a little bit about how the curling method that I have described will take some of the shoulders out of the movement and just make the whole curling movement more effective overall, because this is he's going to show you something now. Big West is going to show you something about what people do. You can see it all the time in gyms when people curl to the top, and how they just kind of just like bring the bar down into the shoulders, which is taking the contraction off of the biceps and putting into the anterior deltoid, which really we have no use for. So show that. So a lot of people will curl and they'll come up. Yeah. And they come up so high that they're actually lifting their elbows up, and they think that, you know, that's getting a better squeeze and everything, but actually all he's really doing is activating, as you can see, the gigantic front deltoids here. He does not need to be coming up that high. But when he bends the wrist down, like this, he can't come up any higher because the forearm is now pressed right against the bicep. Now, what he's also doing here is something that I encourage people to do, which is actually when you do a barbell curl, lean forward a little bit, which kind of makes it a little bit more like a concentration or like a preacher curl type of a feeling. And the contraction in the biceps is actually wild. I mean, he's only using 50 pounds right here. When he puts the bar down, his biceps are going to be amazingly pumped, and he can curl a lot more than this. So that is a great way to curl. Bring the wrists down, lean forward a little bit. The range of motion is a little bit shorter, the weight's a little bit less, but the tension of the biceps is going to be 3 times as much.
I want to go do arms now.
Go do arms.
What else do you got for us today? What little gem of knowledge?
All right, I'm not gonna, you know, pretend that I came up with this exercise. I maybe just came up with the specific way that I like to do it, but it's an exercise called sissy squats, and you don't see very many people use this exercise, or at least the true sissy squat. You see people use those little benches that are called sissy squat benches, where you hook your feet under, and you know, it's, you know, you have
that here.
Legs. And that's really, it's a great movement, but it's not quite as good as this movement here. Now, the Sissy squat that I'm going to show you today very, very specifically works the muscles in the middle of the thigh, the rectus femoris and the vastus intermedialis, which runs right down the middle of the thigh. Some people call it the thigh rods, but the cool thing about it is you'll see guys, I mean, on stage, even pro level, who are shredded to the bone. Their legs are shredded, but they still don't show like a lot of real separation between those muscles in the middle of the thigh. And that's something that we want to work on heavily here with Big West, because you just want everything to be perfect. And while he has great, size in his thighs and nice outer sweep and a good shear drop, I want to make sure that when he comes on stage, he's just completely separated. And this movement is completely unique. You really can't do any other exercise, I don't care whether it's lunges, leg extensions, anything like that will hit these muscles so specifically as this, and it's because of the angle and the position of the body when it's a squat, but the position and the angle of the body is what will force your rectus femoris and your vastus intermedialis to fire most heavily. And this is the kind of thing that if you do this properly, you will wake up the next day and you will feel specific soreness right in the middle of the thigh in that spot, and you'll know that you did it perfectly. So I'm going to demonstrate it here, and I'm demonstrating it for this guy here because he's going to have to do it in his next workout.
Hey, live video today.
Okay, so when people do this, or when it's originally taught, a lot of people will do it just holding onto one object and maybe holding a dumbbell or a plate in their hand. I don't think you need anything but your own body weight. This is not the kind of exercise that you do first in a routine. This is great supersetted with leg extensions or after your thighs are already completely smashed, so that you only really need your own body weight. Plus, if you do it properly and you really do a full range of motion, you don't need any weight. We want to not worry about balance at all. We just want to worry what's happening in the thighs. So we're going to use our hands here on the bar. I'm using a Smith machine.
Okay.
It's usually a great place to do it. If you don't have a Smith machine, sometimes you can take 2 incline benches and put them together. Anything where you can get your hands up even. What you want to do is you want to place your feet out in front of you. I prefer a close stance. I don't think you should be wearing sandals. I'm just wearing it today.
You weren't supposed to do anything today.
I didn't realize I was going to be doing this today. But anyway, so we're holding onto the bar, and what we're doing is we're leaning our body back. This is the starting position right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to drive your knees down towards the floor while remaining in the lean back position. As you can see, I go up on the balls of my feet and stretch all the way to the bottom, and I can feel that stretch all the way up here, up through the hip, which we want to have that definition right up into the hip. Okay, and then I'm pushing up in that same plane of motion, but I don't come all the way to the top. I keep the tension on the thighs right there, and we'll back down. You want to make this motion down to the floor slow. Get your stretch, push out.
And you're not pulling on the arms. It's important to tell.
Not pulling at all.
You just just balancing yourself.
Balance.
Wow.
Towards the end of the set, if you're exhausted, and you want to do like a force rep, you can obviously pull up a little bit because you may fail right in the middle. But you have to do the exercise exaggerated like that. Get down, drive the knees into the ground, lean back far, stay in that position, hold onto the bar tight, and you'll feel that stretch literally go. Because when we're up on stage, and you're wearing the trunks, I mean, you need to see the definition go all the way up into the hips.
Yeah.
This will give that to you right here down into the middle of the thigh.
Wow.
There is nothing else like it, and I promise you, this is the greatest exercise to get the middle part of the thigh. And if you do this consistently over an off season and then compete the following year and you're ripped, you'll see a big complete difference in your thighs, which we will show
That's a good
this
one.
guy next year. So that is the
Isn't leg tomorrow, Big Mac?
Yep.
This may be on the program.
I already know it is.
we'll
I
just
know
call,
it is.
we'll call that the Eric Broser version of the Sissy squat.
There you go.
And I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, thank you.